And here we go, RBIS versus the Cunninghams. Battle number 1 taking place on Himmelsdorf. Himmelsdorf, you showed on the telestration that it's one of the most popular maps we've seen this season.
Exactly, and taking a look at the tanks, we have 3 AMX 5100s, 2 IS-3s, 2 T1 Cunninghams. For the Cunninghams, the red team spawning in the south. RBIS, the blue team spawning in the north, will have 3 AMX 5100s, 2 IS-3s, and 2 T1 Cunninghams. It's going to come down to execution for this one, Clutch.
It will. This mirror matchup, it's going to depend on who can perform the best in this type of lineup.
And a little blind fire going across the middle. I see streaming over Silent Demise.
Akiyama and Legit hanging together around the west as Sella's going to push forward towards the keyhole section. Fires on the move straight into the ruins. Does not go past.
Opening moves for the Cunninghams. Looks like they're going to go for some hill pressure. Don't think it's going to get them anywhere, as RBIS is in the northwest playing that traditional defensive position that we've seen before. And probably, I expect, will be seeing quite a few times.
Indeed. That western position here up north is super defensive coming out of RBIS.
It affords some flexibility, though. You can push down the 1-2 line, assuming your opponent doesn't have the strongest cover. For example, right now, Cunninghams only have Trireme out there in T1, and I believe he's noticed that some blind fire has been coming down from RBIS. And he'll run away, trying to preserve his tank, and he's going to do a little loop even, telling the rest of his team, Cunninghams, that there are tanks up the 1-2 line. And this might be enough of an indicator for the Cunninghams that RBIS is playing that defensive position.
Precambrian's put himself in a scenario where he will be able to scout any of that movement coming from the Cunninghams to the south if such movement were to occur. And that's a really good place to be for that T1, as Sella can try to use that pinpoint locationing by Precambrian to get a couple shots on that side.
Now A. Martin is going to move over the top of the hill. We've got Silent Demise right down below, covering him from the west. And aft of A. Martin, there are two tanks moving up the hill. And they are approaching their opponent. Nice shot. Silent Demise puts one right into A5, looking to see if anybody is watching his position. And now A. Martin checks the west side. But it's all clear. Gabriel Angelos going to be down below, and we could see a T1 versus T1 engagement. A. Martin on the top of the hill, Gabriel Angelos right down below, but he is watching the corner, and he has that advantage.
A. Martin up top, peeking around that corner. Gabriel Angelos could get a shot here. A. Martin peeks and moves back.
Think he spotted him. Gabriel knows he has that advantage, but recognizing the fact that there could be a T8 coming up behind him, there is. Commander J going to be back there. Countess taking the west. And down below, I see 3 tier 8s from the Cunninghams are going to be moving up the 8 line. They're preparing to break that northwest defensive position. Commander J getting very close to the edge. Silent Demise watching up the 8 line. And Gabriel is pinched. He cannot escape. A. Martin leading the way right down, trying to start an engagement. Gabriel fires a few, but A. Martin jukes.
Dodges those shots. Gabriel Angelos leaves his position, and now Cunninghams can gain ground to the south of the hill as the remainder of RBIS is in the other position, in the west. Still close enough to defend their flag cap, so it's not way open for the Cunninghams to get behind them. But the rest of the tanks for the Cunninghams are poised to strike against any movement from RBIS.
Gabriel moves into a covered location, a little bit of a carport, if you will. A. Martin, I think he knows that position is, or at least the potential for a T1.
Angelos, first name Gabriel, still holding in that section. But A. Martin could poke up here and get the shot based on the angle.
He's got the spot.
He could get this. Gabriel Angelos does not have the diagonal angle to make this happen. A. Martin trying to position himself.
Just so. Lines it up. He's got a little bit of the front.
There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4 volleys. A. Martin gets it. And that leaves that entire eastern side completely open for Cunninghams to make that move. They've done so. Delta line featuring 2 of the heavies, 1 still holding back.
And now A. Martin moves. He's going to try, I think, cross back to the south. Yeah, this is a little risky. There's a IS-3, I think, watching this opening, and Ox Mathis will not get the shot. I don't even think he spotted A. Martin, and he's going to be able to escape. T1 still alive. Free T1 pickup at the beginning of this match. Well, 5 minutes into the match, I should say.
Now Oxmathis pulls back a little bit here. Fires.
Ooh, nice shot. It would have hit Countess had he been watching around that corner, but Oxmathis is going to have to back off now. And Precam versus Trireme. Precam takes Trireme down to, he's burning, I think, by 100 hit points, and he's sitting at 15 easy. Now we've got Trireme trying to take down Precam, but they're going to be moving a T8 behind this. And I think it's very important for the Cunninghams right now that they do not have that T8 spotted, that he stays hidden, because when they begin the pressure on the cap, it will come down to a flank from a 5100. I think that's going to be Taka in Kilo 1 right now. Trireme needs to kill Precam. Taka cannot afford to be discovered or detected, and that would indicate to RBIS the split, allowing them for a push and an overmatch for victory.
The spread from Cunninghams in 4 different places on the map here is not the most ideal location, especially if RBIS was to discover this. The overmatch could happen at any time.
Yeah, Countess up on the hill. It's an interesting cover position. He does have some interesting angles of fire, but for the defensive position in the northwest, I'm not sure it's going to be very effective. And with that, yes, he's going to recognize that and move on out, moving south even. I'm wondering where he's going to go off to, either southwest or maybe just taking a safer route to get into the positions around the 5 line, where currently Comps and Silent Demise are.
Time is ticking. Both these teams put a point on the board.
Yeah, 3 minutes and 45 seconds is not a lot of time. They need to get set up to make this attack and try and break in. It's going to be very difficult. Taka hiding as far back as he can, and Trireme not making a lot of headway in the southwest right now. We've got Silent Demise getting ready. He's actually backing off, and they're going to move A. Martin forward. I think he's going to go for a proxy spot against Oxmathis, see what they can see, maybe get some cover fire going. Hits the wall, and I'm hearing a lot of pinging going out.
Yep, a lot of pinging happening on my end as well from RBIS. Still no aggressive movement happening from RBIS here.
Oh, and Oxmathis is on the perfect angle. He recognizes the potential for someone to try and outplay him on this corner, and A. Martin is there. He cannot afford to go around the corner. Ah, and there's a move up. Commander J is getting closer and closer, getting ready to cover the cap. I'm thinking they're going to try for it. Maybe 230? Maybe 215? Not sure. Looking at the positions right now, Cunninghams are still getting organized for this attack. Countess is moving in. He's on the G line, waiting at the corner of about Gulf 3. Silent Demise and Comps are in a very flexible position. They're watching both the D line, their western flank, and also they're able to put their focus on the north where A. Martin is. But it looks like they're going to move west. So we're going to have a southwestern attack with, I think, Commander J in the northeast.
Precambrian still holding this position, trading fire with Trireme. He's super low, but he is stopping this advancement from the south of the Cunninghams. This 1T1 will be able to spot that type of danger happening to the south, and Trireme still trying to fire against Precambrian to get that kill to allow Taka 001 and the other Tier 8 to move up. But around that corner, Cunninghams.
And now Trireme's moving up. And there's the fight. Silent Demise engaging on Cella, 391 damage. Comps misses a shot against Precam.
Akiyama fires down the line. Taka takes down Precambrian. And so Taka 001 can now push up along with the other Tier 8 from the Cunninghams.
But that indicates, because Taka gets the kill, that the Cunninghams are very split up. There's only one way Taka could have gotten that kill. Now Commander J moves forward across the cap. A. Martin goes down on the cap. And Commander J is out and alone. It looks like Akiyama, Oxmathis, and Legit are going to be getting an engagement on him.
And Commander J completely just caught all alone. Isolation principle works in favor of RBIS. And now comes the tanks around the corner. Cella taking a hit. Silent Demise and Comps can get this tank. RBIS about to lose their first Tier 8, and he goes down. Comps so super low. Carbon Ward, can he get the last shot? No, it's coming from Oxmathis. And now Akiyama around that corner.
3v4. Carbon Ward is very low. Akiyama taking significant damage, but Countess, Taka, and Silent Demise are still in good health, and they have Trireme, the T1. They can move in, and there's a chance for either team to take. The Silent Demise is going right after Carbon Ward, and it looks like Trireme is going to be stuck in the northwest, but the flank is coming in. Akiyama is caught out.
No, too far, Akiyama. Too far. And Countess is burning down. Will he fall because of it? Oxmathis is going to push in to try to get the last shot. Silent Demise takes down Carbon Ward. Legit finally cleans up Countess.
And he now moves in on Taka. 588 damage.
20 seconds left.
183. And gets the kill. Legit takes him down. Now Silent Demise and Trireme are the only tanks left for the Cunninghams, and they are pinned in the northwest. There is no escape.
10 seconds. Trireme and Silent Demise trying to escape in the north. If there is any escape, can they get it? Legit moving away towards the flag cap. 2, 1. And battle number 1 between RBIS and the Cunninghams go to a draw. Anything after 2 minutes is not enough time. I talked about this in the Global Grand Finals. About 2:50, 2:45 is when that initiation needs to happen. And I know the defense of RBIS was spread in the northwest. That T1 was so crucial for trying to get that kill against Precambrian. Once they got it, then the Tier was able to push forward. He needed to get it sooner. It was so close. He had just that much HP left, but that was the biggest difference, I feel, that would have really changed it from a draw to a win for the Cunninghams, at least.
I think what was going on in A. Martin's mind there was he was saying, I have to get this T1 kill. I need to kill Precam. But I cannot allow Taka to kill Precam. If he does that, then RBIS knows that Taka is in the south. Because they know his position, they can begin a counterplay. Because they understand the likely positions of my tanks. That is a huge risk to take to have Taka get the T1 kill. They could not risk Trireme because A. Martin was dead. Or because A. Martin was distracted with other things. He wasn't dead yet, my bad. A. Martin was depending on a number of deliverables from his team in order to begin that engagement. They were not able to meet those in enough time. Because those kills did not happen, you had a different story. And you saw how the Cunninghams were able to execute rather well. However, they were losing in the end. Silent Demise, the only T8 left alive. Commander J, one of the top performers for the Cunninghams, who's so consistent and so absolutely crucial, I think, to the Cunninghams' victory, was overmatched and went down.
I was caught off guard when I switched on that camera feed and saw, what's Commander J doing? He's been listening to us too much, pumping him up, being the MVP all the time, and going, I'm the MVP. I can survive this.
I think their prediction was that when RBIS recognized where tanks were, that there would be more focus on the two Tier 8s, the IS-3s to the south, because they were spotted first. Commander J had been spotted maybe earlier, but was probably able to move back and conceivably could have been in the south as well. RBIS was in a position to defend their cap, get the T1 kill, and then get Commander J. It was a smart play. They had equally as competent a play and a counter prepared to what the Cunninghams did.
All right, so they had at least one counter prepared. Unfortunately, they were waiting too long for the Cunninghams to start whatever fight was going to happen.
Yeah.
RBIS, again, maybe trying to feel out their opponent and see what type of pace they're going to set in battle number 1, which is completely understandable. But you cannot wait. You cannot be controlled by your opponent. You have to be able to control the battlefield on your own. But series continues. Pattern of what we saw in the first match. Now it's happening again. Draw on Himmelsdorf. Now it's going to be Prohorovka. Rukil, what do we have for tanks?
For tanks, we have a T-32, T-69, 3 1390s, and 2 T-1 Cunninghams for the Cunninghams. They are the red team spawning in the south, the north, the blue team. RBIS, T-32, T-69, 3 1390s, 2 T-1 Cunninghams. This is going to come down entirely to execution, and the Cunninghams are going to do something very similar to, I believe it was the Fnatic game. Do you remember when they fought Fnatic and they were in the north? Fnatic spawned in the south, and they went east. When they did this, I believe it was a play to catch their opponent off guard. I think it was a little bit of that. And knowing that their opponent is likely opening and understanding how to play the clock, the Cunninghams want to enable themselves to defend and also to draw in the event of a bad play, which they were successful in Himmelsdorf.
Yes.
Based on the clock timing. And also, I think they're going to use Beguk rather well. It's going to come down to his play for this battle.
Instead of north-south, it'll be east-west. The opening run of Cunningham's not crossing the tracks at all, while Legit from RBIS was able to scout a couple of those tanks. Again, the information that's gathered, the decisions that are made is based off not only tanks that are seen, but where tanks are not seen.
Yes.
And that is crucial. That's part of scouting.
understanding that since a tank is not here, likely positions following that. Because your opponent is highly skilled, they fall into patterns.
Process of elimination and the process of deduction.
Yes.
And that information gathering is crucial for any team in World of Tanks, in 7x42 esports, and 15-on-15, especially when you're trying to find those arties.
Yep.
At the end of those games, it's very, very crucial. Gabriel Angelos, he's going to be in the defensive posture.
Just watch. I want you guys to watch this. Whenever you see a shell impact on the ground from a tank that is not spotted, any one of these pros should, in 90% of the time, understand the location from which that shell came from. Because these guys are good enough, their shell will land in one location, and you judge. All right, that shell landed short, right? It hit the dirt. I just saw this a moment ago, actually. A. Martin going up, moving up on the trains, and then I saw one shell impact on the side of the train.
Well,
right
another
center
shell,
screen.
another shell that did impact was against Carbon Ward.
Wow.
In the T-32, a long-range shot. Looking at his hole to see where it hit. He fires back towards wherever it came from.
Yeah.
Can't see. Oh, there it is. Right on the hole, right here.
Nice,
Where it
right to
took
the
damage.
engine block.
Yeah.
But I'll just wrap up the point I was
Sure,
making
go ahead.
real quick. So when that shell impacted on the train, A. Martin was about nya. Because of that, you recognize that your opponent is probably in the location Carbon Ward is right now. You see, that's the line from which it came. It did not connect. It connected here instead. These are the likely positions of my opponent. Why would someone miss so badly if they were over there? Why would someone miss quite like that if they're directly to the north? It would have been slightly different. You can get those patterns through thousands of games of play.
More blind fire from Carbon Ward. Take a look at Akiyama on the T-69. He's back in the bushes. Echo 2. Covering Carbon Ward's position, making sure none of those 1390s get a crazy idea to flank Carbon Ward on either side and use their traverse speed to get around that tank. Couple shots towards Carbon. Going to the dirt, but they're close enough to get scary.
Ah, I think that's from Countess, who is in the far south. With him, Trireme. Looks to be just peeking up and over in his T1. And he'll be able to spot any approaches from RBIS coming from the west. We can see Ox Mathis and Gabriel Angelos chilling out in that direction. Waiting to see if there will be any resolution in the north, though. Two T1s proxy spotting each other, there's bound to be some kind of a resolution within the next few minutes. I think that's the first point where RBIS can try and make a weak point.
Blind fire continues on both sides. Precambrian up to the north. He's the one spotting A. Martin. He's preventing this northern section to get overwhelmed and for tanks to attack the flag.
Ah, this will be Cunninghams going for it. Looks like Commander J might just jump up and over, try and snapshot pre-cam, and then back on down. With that slight T1 advantage, Commander J goes over, connects, no one is ready, and he backs down. This is not so much RBIS' huge mistake, although they could have probably been covering a little bit better, but when you just show up out of nowhere, nothing happening before and almost appearing as though there's no reason for him to be there, also not having been spotted, that's how it works out. Striking when you're unexpected.
Legit from far away did not have this shot, but he was angled with his turret towards that direction. He'll maintain this position for a while until a call comes from his commander to move, which possibly just happened at this moment.
I think RBIS might also be able to accept the draw. They're looking for a way to get some gains, but as it currently stands, oh, A. Martin moving up and over.
Crosses the train tracks, gets towards the rock in time for Sella not to be able to get that shot from long range. Commander J, however, pops up, shot in the side of Sella as he moves away. Great decoy fire towards A. Martin to pinpoint where one of the tanks was, and that is more HP damage against RBIS. One tier 1 down. Sella and Carbon Ward have taken hits.
Yep, and Commander J, excellent timing. If you noticed, shells streamed over his position at the last moment, and he predicted this. He was like, I'm going to be up. 1 shot, 2 shots maybe. I'm going to back down after that. That is about the time where my opponent will zero a shot, feel confident in this shot, and then fire. If I leave before then, I lose out on potential damage. If I leave after, I'm going to take more damage than I dealt, and there will not be a payoff. It was absolutely perfect.
Sella chopping down trees, back and forth. Still nothing open for him to shoot at. 319. It's a standstill, east-west versus RBIS and Cunninghams. If it goes to another draw, it turns into a best of 3. If the entire series goes all 5 games and it ends in a draw, we go to the tiebreaker map.
Sand River.
Which is Sand River. And the team that did the most damage gets to choose either to attack or defend. The common choice is defense.
Look at this, Baguk going over. So we had a simultaneous T1 push. A Martin from the north, Trireme from the south, and they've secured about 50% of the entire map. They've got the 5 line, they've got the 4 line under control. Now they're moving up Baguk under cover of Taka. Taka is able to reply to any fire coming at Baguk. Of course, he gets spotted himself. Trireme looks to be moving up even further. And we've got 1390s. Where are they? Countess sitting a little far back. Silent Demise as well should be moving up if we're looking for an engagement. Commander J sits on top. And with A. Martin in his current position, Baguk where he is, Commander J is safe. He can sit in the open on this nice high ground and just let shots fly. I can see them going over Carbon Wood right now.
Yeah, he was able to move forward and dodge, move back and dodge, trying to be unpredictable, not allowing Cunninghams to land those far-range shots. And now, one tank on the flag cap, forcing RBIS to react, and reacting they are. Sella heading towards the top. It's A. Martin. He's behind cover, actually.
Yeah, the cover can be easily destroyed and shot through, as it was just legit making that example. And the tank is going down. The engagement should begin soon.
Sella dodges even more shots here. Baguk firing on the reload. Sella moving to the south. Trireme trying to scout those tanks in the southern position of RBIS. 1 minute and 21 seconds. Real kill again. I believe this will go to a draw, but these teams right now have to take advantage of this time to do more damage than the other if it goes to a tiebreaker at the end of the series.
Exactly. That's what you have to be playing for when you recognize the victory is not a viable option. Minute left. There's not enough damage in these tanks to get those kills unless absolute absurdity ensues.
Sella still chopping down trees, hitting another one. When he does knock down a tree, the enemy T can see that. Carbon Ward's going to pop up, and Sella pop up at the same time, just further north, and Baguk is seen. Lands a shot into the dirt in front of Sella, and the shot is fired and hits Taka for 266 damage.
It's a slight gain. That's a little bit of damage that they need if they go to the tiebreaker.
Silent Demise hit again for 207. Carbon Ward hit for 250s, falls back, 25 seconds left. Sella's looking for another opening shot against Cunninghams. May not be able to get it. 17 seconds. Ox Mathis with 2 shots now might go for it, at least to get Trireme. 8 seconds left.
He's just going. And that's going to begin an engagement. Ox Mathis jumps onto Trireme, T1 down. Sella moves in on this T8, but Guk goes for a little bit of damage, and it's over.
Sella super low towards the end, but it ends in another draw. The amount of blows on both sides, not that much.
Yeah.
Not that much.
Good damage from Ox Mathis, 588. This is consistent with his performance, usually on top. He's got great damage. If I look back, I can see he's done about 43k for the season, putting him exceptional level of damage. No surprise here. Baguk, T32, doing about 580. And you just look at how many shells he fired. 10 shells fired with 2 actual connections. Got the 105 on that. And Ox Mathis also 2 connections. With a ram, T1 ram as well. That was what I was confused about for a second. 588, 240 damage, 240. Can't add up to 588. It's not possible.
Were you looking at Carbon Ward in the T32?
Carbon Ward's position. Carbon Ward did 0 damage.
0 for 16. That's a lot of blind fire into those bushes.
That's what his job is.
Yep.
His job is to find free damage until some kind of opening, till that door, that opportunity.
Now the next map's going to take place. It's going to take place on steps, And this is a similar map to Prohoroka because of the open type style. Now, here's the difference to match 1 compared to match 2. The third map took place on Ensk, and Simp was hyper aggressive. They met the aggression of Bernal Empires head on, and that was good for them because Blue Boy's captain's position was awesome. It really was. It set up a great flank. However, steps now. These teams, I'm sure their preparations had not allowed them to watch the first match that had happened. But with the experience that you and I have, not just with this map, but with these two teams, I see RBIS being more aggressive than Cunninghams on steps.
I would agree. That's a very likely possibility. However, I should raise that Commander J is incredibly mobile on steps in the past.
Yes, he is, especially in the north.
Yes.
He has performed so well. But, yeah, he will be in spawning from the south. But that northern aggression is really, really, really good. Super mobile Commander J. Just that hang time.
You like that shot?
Makes such a difference. It really does. And he is all over the map, and that's a good thing because he gets the job done. He really does. It's the best way you can put it. You look at all the stats. You look at the MVP award he received last season, his constant presence, his representation when he came to represent the team at the beginning of the season. We had all the other team representatives. He is a class act, and hopefully it's not just him that's carrying this team, Cunninghams, as they face RBIS. No, he's not. There are other top performers there as well. Okay, battle number 3, steps between RBIS and the Cunninghams. Rookhill, what do we have for tanks?
For tanks, Pershing, T69, 3 1390s, 2 T1 Cunninghams. That is the Cunninghams. They're the red team. They're in the south. RBIS, blue team, north. T32, T69, 3 1390s, 2 T1 Cunninghams. Slightly heavier lineup for RBIS.
Slightly.
Switch out a Pershing, put it as a T32.
More speed on a Pershing.
More cons on a Pershing.
More HP on a T32.
Yep. Armor as well.
They both loading the 90 or the 105 on the
T32.
T32. 105. That's the gun I prefer. You prefer the 90 because of the DPM.
Yeah, and penetration.
Damage per minute.
And accuracy.
I like the higher damage output per one shot.
The alpha, as it were.
The alpha.
It's nice.
Shot fire from Taka. More blind fire coming from Carbon Ward.
Yep, all over the place. Everyone's just putting out a little blind fire, seeing what they can get, seeing what little gains here and there. And it looks like the Cunninghams recognize their opponent's potential to just take the northeast and sit there for a while. This is so similar in a way to Himmelsdorf. It's the open map version of that defensive position. Difficult to attack. The north has it. Put some solid tanks in there, except you take a slightly different approach to this, don't you?
More blind fire. So much blind fire happening from RBIS.
Yeah.
Yeah, the approach coming from Cunninghams, no man's road, split of the map. And then the west, occupied by 3 tanks, while one of the T1s hangs back. RBIS staying real close to their flag cap.
That is the 90 on Carbon Ward. Look how fast he fires.
Yeah, that has to be the 90.
Yeah, I was wrong. Excuse me.
Well, I've always played with the 105. And so I was looking at him for a little bit, going, wow, he really fires fast. Oh, it's Akiyama. Oh, no, it's not Akiyama. And now he's firing towards A. Martin's potential position in blind fire. Cambrian's closest to the tanks of danger. As Cunningham's is, again, splitting this map. The control is in their favor. RBIS hanging back.
And now A. Martin moves forward. We have the similar press to what we saw in Simp versus Bernal Empires. Now, different lineup, but this is an attempt at the same attack. Taka in the T69 comps has moved up. They're sitting on the backside of the hill. I believe they have not been spotted, which is good for Cunninghams. They need to use the element of surprise to begin this engagement, and I see comps and Taka getting ready to move out now. Behind them is Commander J. Countess, going to be guarding the south in his 1390. I expect him to flank once the engagement begins. He's going to need to time it perfectly, though, because he is about 45 seconds out from beginning the engagement. This tells me, as he moves out of his position, Cunninghams intends to begin an engagement soon. And Countess will need to play very safely in order to keep that an option.
Firing back. Still no dice, no connections on either side. And Precambrian falls right after I say that.
Jinxing them every time, Josh.
It was that buildup, that tension. I can feel it was about to happen.
Yeah, I think you were right.
Akiyama pressing up on the hill for a little bit here, trying to find any of those tanks potentially past the railroad tracks to the north. It's a favorite spot for tankers, that spot to the south. Fanatic does it so well. And now E. Martin falls.
Interesting. They've lost that T1 in the very north, Alpha 3. Countess may come upon Gabriel Angelos soon. And there's a switch up. Silent Demise. 1390 from the north going to the south. Flank with 2 from the south, 3 from the north. That will not allow for Cunninghams to have any kind of cap pressure. They've lost a Martin. Trireme is still in the south in his T1. He is there to be an option for Cunninghams to draw this still, and also for them to defend their cap. RBIS should recognize their potential, and that once this fight begins, if they can do anything to kind of spur the Cunninghams on, just, you know, hit them a little bit and make them go, wow, we do not have time to keep losing health. We need to just start the engagement. If they can do that, I think RBIS can win. Don't know if they can get into Cunningham's heads like that, though. Now we see 1390s moving up. And Sella could ruin this for Cunninghams. If he's able to spot any of these tanks, Countess should be... He might have just been spotted, I think. No. He will in a moment, though. And I think the jig might be up.
Yeah, the dance of death continues, but at a distance. And now here's this turn coming from Cunningham. Sella, Gabriel Angelos falling back. Sella moving as fast as he can away from the danger. Gabriel Angelos going to stay in the bush to scout any tanks potentially pressing against Sella. Sella's able to escape just in time.
Such good movement from Sella. Using the terrain to his advantage, keeps his speed up, and also escapes just in time. Cunninghams could not get enough mobility, and a shot right into Commander J. 258 damage. That is from Ox Mathis. Beautiful reply.
He falls back and he starts to reload.
Yes.
4 minutes and 30.
That is what RBIS needs to do. That is absolutely perfect. Little damage right there. Says, get out of here, 1390s. And now they should return to the north, and I think an overmatch is in order on the 2 T8s up there, Taka and Comps. Depending on how much spotting has happened, Comps should be lit. Winning 1390s could move in. They just need to do it perfectly so that from this very south, you can't have Commander J, Countess, and Silent Demise. Bring in counter fire. Bring in that cover.
Mm-hmm. Well, Sella continues to dance around. And now the spread's happening more towards the south for RBIS, as they're looking for an opening against Cunninghams. 3 minutes and 40 seconds. The time ticks away for both these teams.
Wait, is RBIS going to go for the 1390s first? That would be an interesting play. That could work out very well if they can catch someone off guard. They have a slight, very slight health advantage, which is negated by any missed shells. But if they kill the 1390s first and get that final T1, shot towards Countess goes right on over.
Ideally, RBIS would want to find Commander J and get the first kill against him. However, he's going to possibly fall back enough or set up a crossfire enough with Silent Demise or potentially Countess turning back to the south to punish anyone chasing after Commander J. And that is the science of, the Cunninghams. Take the weakest tank, HP, get him behind us. Get him away from the front lines. Still make him a danger, an unknown danger. Where did he go?
Well, Commander J hasn't taken so much damage that he's completely out of it yet.
No, but it makes him an easier decision to be the target.
True. I'll accept that. And he does look like he's going to move back a little bit, although we've got another shift. Silent Demise. We've got this one-by-one movement. Got Countess moving out, then you have Commander J. Silent Demise, and then finally Commander J. And if we see a push from RBIS, I think the timing might be such that if RBIS pushes, it's a huge mistake. Mm-hmm. They should recognize the potential for Cunninghams to reorganize themselves and place their 1390s back in the north. They won't be able to do much cap pressure, but we could see a last-minute ditch effort. Commander J trying to catch Sick Air yet again, gets himself tracked. He loves getting Sick Air. Just a little bit too much.
Just a little bit.
I can't blame him. It's kind of fun.
Sella dancing around still. Looking for that opening. 1 minute and 43. Rukil, I think we're going to go to another draw.
Very likely.
It's unfortunate, but the tension is so high between these two teams. The stakes are high. We saw this in the tiebreakers and the wild cards as well. But a decision's going to have to be made. Cunninghams, A. Martin, to the anger of a lot of people, said in one of the face-offs, win 1, draw 4. And so far, no one's won 1, and we're about to draw 3.
It's an interesting strategy. It puts the pressure up to absurd levels. You have to win this battle.
Yes.
Or you cannot afford to lose out in damage.
I know Himmelsdorf, the fight happened, didn't go in their favor. Prohorovka, failed launch on both sides. Steps could have been the choice for RBIS rather than Cunningham. That's why they don't want to press against it. So it's going to come down to Ensk and Mines.
RBIS knows they're up on damage. They have to. After Himmelsdorf, it's obvious. You have more damage. So you can put the pressure on the Cunninghams and say, Cunninghams, you come at us.
That's true. Sala did take a significant amount of damage in the last battle, but not enough to be destroyed.
Yes, and it was not nearly as much as RBIS was able to put out on the Cunninghams for Himmelsdorf.
Akiyama.
Oh, here it is. Here's the push. Commander J leads the way. 1390. Drifts a little bit. Nice. And he's going to begin moving across the A line. Behind him, Silent Demise and Countess, and that should begin the engagement. Legit needs to get out of here, or there needs to be coverage very soon. Commander J takes the first hit.
And Commander J almost falls. 3 seconds left. 1 more second for Commander J to go down. He does. And that will leave more damage again in favor of RBIS. That puts him in a favorable position if it goes to a tiebreaker to have the choice of attack or defense on Sand River.
Yep.
And that's a big deal.
As I look at the postgame, I see 657, 424, 373, 259, 236. Every tier 8 for RBIS dealt damage that battle. Only 2 tier 8s dealt any damage at all for the Cunninghams. 346 for Countess, and Commander J does 239. Last-ditch effort to get a little damage snuck in there works entirely against the Cunninghams. And they need a win. That is all that Cunninghams can hope for. If this keeps going slowly, we've got Ensk next. And then we have Mines. 2 maps, depending on your spawns, very easy to draw.
Yes. Yes, indeed. And this is getting dangerous for the veteran team, the Cunninghams. Now, do they have something up their sleeve for Ensk and Mines? Possibly. I would definitely say for Mines they do, because but RBIS could play it so defensive again and wait and say, hey, we're going to play defense on Sand River. That's what we're going to play for now, because it's not about league points. It's not about position in the division. It's about wins. And this winner of this match will go on to face Simp in the winner's match. The loser gets knocked down, and they will face Burn All Empires.
I know I wouldn't want to face Simp, but you want to win because you need to make it to that final match. You don't want to have to risk losing out and getting knocked out just so early in this.
Of course, and if you get the win today, if you get the win in this series, and then you face Simp, you go down to the decider match. I'd rather go to the decider match than have to play from the losers bracket, then into the decider
face
match.
A really tired team that's gone through the losers, maybe is a little more demoralized. I mean, just play for the win, see what happens. But the pressure is so much higher today. Cunninghams are facing RBIS. RBIS is bringing a level of play that I don't think Cunninghams was quite as prepared for.
No. Or Cunningham's decided that, hey, we're not going to aggress at all unless, we want to set traps for them. We want to set traps for RBIS. Mm-hmm. This is similar type of play RBIS was showing against Fun Gaming, where they got the 1 win and they drew out the rest of the series and got the series win. No wins on the board yet for either team. Battle number 4 on Ensk between Cunninghams and RBIS. Real kill, what do we have for tanks?
For tanks, we have 3 AMX 5100s, 2 IS-3s, 2 T1 Cunninghams for the Cunninghams. They're the red team in the south, the north RBIS. 3 5100s, 2 IS-3s, 2 T1 Cunninghams. All down to execution here. In the opening moves, we see a push from the Cunninghams directly north. And they may do what
Simp did in match number 1, as RBIS is going to go all east, past the railroad tracks. 935. as soon as they spawned, they moved as fast as they could this way. Now they're firing down the railroad track line. Blind fire hits one of the cars. And the 1T1, is that Gabriel Angelos? It is. Fleeing from the onslaught of the Cunninghams in the city block.
He gets away. Just barely. Commander J looks to be moving up, and he's going to keep going. He knows. They understand their opponent's positions. I don't think they spotted anything.
Oh, they've spotted Gabriel Angelos. Commander J moves in for the kill. There goes 1T1 for RBIS. Now, this is where RBIS needs to make a crucial decision. Do they keep pushing to the south, or do they hesitate and then start spreading out, and then it becomes a long, tight play? No, they're moving to the south.
That is a highly risky play. It looks like the Cunninghams know what's up as well. They're moving to the south. They understand. They know. They absolutely know. And they are getting ready to defend the cap. Silent Demise lets out a first shell. No connection, though. RBIS gets ever closer to the cap, and they're setting up the coverage.
Selenox Mathis poking around the railroad tracks. Just outside cover of those railroad cars. Shot from comps. No connection yet. Commander J on the reload in the 5100 after taking out the 1T1 in the northwest corner. Can be back in the fight at any time now, but he's going to head towards the north.
Shots fired. Silent Demise trying to put out some fire here. Comps as well, unable to make a connection. And RBIS looked like they wanted to put cap pressure on, but they're now recognizing that plan's not going to go. Now I see Commander J in the north with A. Martin, two of them together. We may see cap pressure from the Cunninghams with perhaps a bit of a distraction from the remaining tier 8s. They could push across the south. However, RBIS does look to be moving back north. And they could jump across the tracks and find Commander J on his own.
Carbon Ward has fallen back towards the 0 line on the east. He was pretty far south, and now he's gone back up to the north. Sella moved up the lumberyard. No scouting, no connections. Shots have been fired. Gabriel Angelos, the only tank down, who fell in the northwest. But they only saw the one tank. They only saw Commander J. And now we have a standstill. And RBIS has turned into defensive mode while Cunningham's spreads themselves on the map. Gets more map control.
Looks like the Cunninghams are also putting out plenty of blind fire. Countess just unloaded his clip into, I guess that must be the buildings over there. I'll have to go check that out. Let's see. Ah, yeah. A little bit of, oh, that's HE. So yeah, they're destroying the buildings that RBIS could have used. Saw that HE, I think, coming in from comps. Let's see. Silent Demise also firing into a pile of wood. Good job, Silent. See that next HE shot. Yep, taking down the buildings. That's all Cunninghams is concerned with right now. A little bit of demolition here and there to try and restrict RBIS's ability to pressure them on the cap, removing that potential entirely.
Cella's going to dance back and forth still here still next to the trees. Precambrian in the T1.
What's
in
this?
The Golf line.
A. Martin's moving up. Trireme is up. And are they going to go for cap pressure?
Well,
they're getting very, very close to it.
They're very close to it, but no commitment yet. And they're not on the right side of that debris. If they were concerned about railroad track fire, but they're not. They have control of the railroad tracks.
I think they're waiting for Taka. Taka is moving up. So we've got two tanks to cross from west to east with their fire. And then from the south, looks like Comps and Silent Demise will move up. So we're going to have a bit of a screen set up by the IS-3s, Silent Demise and Comps. Then in the north, we're going to have Taka and Commander J. They will cover tanks that will be pushing on out. And then from the south, will that be Countess, I think? Yes, Countess will possibly bring the flank in. We'll have to see what he does. I'm seeing a few... Oh. Cunninghams, you're throwing me off
They're
every
going back.
time. I figure out what you're doing, and then a moment later you change it up. Silent Demise and Comps, moving back south, Taka Commander J. Okay, they're going to just come across the southeast. It's got to be it. 4 minutes left.
This is that 5-minute reset.
Yes.
Again, but this reset is not an aggressive type reset. It's defensive, but it's more scouting towards the east, as you just mentioned. The lumberyard is not going to be contested yet, and that we've seen a number of battles happen in that section.
Yeah.
However, the northern push, northern retreat from RBIS puts them further north, but now shots have been fired. Solid Demise and Comps looking down that line.
Behind them is Trireme, Countess, Commander J, and Taka. So this is an all-in. Cunninghams are trying to catch their opponent off guard.
It's an all-in inch by inch, at least going to the lumberyard. It's enough cover for them to do it safely initially, but once they pass that Golf Foxtrot line, they're in for a firefight. And legit Nakayama are turning around for it.
Now Trireme has come across pre-cam, is in the area. If he spots Trireme, that could, and it does look like it does, kind of turn RBIS's attention to the south. Trireme pre-cam will fight. Silent Demise and Comps, they're taking the 7-line approach. A. Martin blitzes onto the cap, and he will get there. He is under cover. Sella looks to try to stop this, but there is fire from the south.
Taka gets hit first. Ox Mathis was the first one to land a shot. Precambrian. T1 falls. Sella super low as they focus on the IS-3 first. However, he could get out of there in time. Silent Demise may have overstepped his bounds. He falls first out of the tier 8s. Both T1s down for RBIS. Ox Mathis and Sella continue to fire. Legit on the reload. Carbon War Nakayama still waiting to unload the rest of their shots. Ox Mathis, however, in trouble, hugging the side, trying to stop Comps and Countess. Countess takes another hit for 393. Carbon Ward streaming in, needs to stay alive a little bit longer. Commander J holds the line. 2 tanks super low for Cunninghams. 54 seconds left for the 1T1A Martin to get the flag cap. Sella, Ox Mathis, and Legit still in the firefight. 2 the tanks still on reload. Ox Mathis gets hit on reload again in the IS-3. He is going to be the next tank to fall if he is not covered.
And it looks like they're going to try to deal with him. Sella is moving out in his IS-3. That could prompt a push from the Cunninghams. Cap stops. A. Martin gets off the cap, resetting the timer.
Akiyama, fully loaded, sees Comps, gets the kill. Sella takes down A. Martin. Legit takes down Commander J. It's 2, now 1, tier 8. Legit falls. Taka still alive. Akiyama and Sella, the 2 tier 8s, still on the map for RBIS, are going to duke it out with Taka. Taka, I think, has more shots than Akiyama. He does. Akiyama on the reload. Taka needs to stay alive here.
He burns his kit and he's going to get away. Taka sitting at 406 hit points. Now, 390 average damage from an IS-3. A low roll or an average roll will keep Taka alive for just longer.
Nice hit from Sella through the fence. Akiyama took a hit. Sella closes the deal. Trireme on the run from Akiyama in the south. 1 minute and 21 seconds until RBIS will take the lead against Cunninghams. The new kids on the block. RBIS joined us from the Silver League. Could out the veterans. Cunninghams. Trireme still on the run. 1 minute and 5 seconds. Akiyama in the south.
Is he spotted?
Can't tell if he's spotted yet.
Akiyama is looking in the right direction. Trireme is doing an excellent job and goes right around the corner. Perfect timing. He's going to move across the open. Akiyama does not see it.
All right, this could be huge. Why? Because this Trireme, this T1, could reset the flag cap. These tanks need to stay on if they're going to get this win. 23 seconds. Trireme needs to turn around now, fire at Akiyama, get either the kill or the reset. Sella is going to maintain his position. Trireme has 17 seconds to pull this off.
Notice the positioning.
And he can't die, too. He can't die.
Notice that positioning. Sella is guarding Akiyama. Now, Akiyama in the 5100 is a taller tank. So, if Trireme gets the reset at this crucial time, he will need to put it in.
He can't get there in time. He won't get there. 5 seconds left. Trireme will not get there. He moved too far away. 3.
There's a very small possibility.
2.
No.
1. Sella's ready for him.
You're right.
Base has been captured. 1 second away. Trireme still got a shot on the run. RBIS takes battle number 4 against the Cunninghams. And now we move into battle number 5, where RBIS can play the defensive game and win and move on into the winner's match.
Yep. For that battle, excellent play. Excellent defense by RBIS. They had the right crossfires, they protected the right tanks at the right time, and the risk the absolute risk taken by Sella. When he moved towards the northern cap to defend it against A. Martin, there was one little mistake. A. Martin did not stay on cap. He actually pushed himself off the cap and reset that, taking a lot of pressure off. Now, Sella was still able to get that kill, but that was a huge relief, I think, for RBIS. That final kill, though. Taka, by the way, see that? He catches fire. That last little tick, the shell, was a low roll. They probably would have gotten him anyway. They had a solid chase. Akiyama was on reload. He would have been loaded soon enough, had the shells, been able to get the kill, whatever. And also the IS-3 fast enough to keep up and maybe get that reload in that final shell. Fire gets that one tick.
Yeah, it was a beautiful shot from Sella through the fence. He was on the move as well. The IS-3 was on the move. Everybody was on the move. And I was waiting to see is Akiyama to still stay alive, because Sella, I don't know if you can land this shot in that IS-3. That BL-9 gun's a powerful gun, but it's not the most accurate gun, especially when you're on the move.
Oh, certainly. And can barely defend on it. At that range, though, I think you can maybe make those shots.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Yes, but you're also shooting through the wall itself, and so your trajectory, your viewpoint is not the same. You couldn't really, you could try to stop and snipe, but...
Yeah, shooting through I like that they added that. I loved when they added being able to shoot through the destructible cover, like walls, because it opened up so many opportunities. Walls used to just absorb the shell, and then you would not be able to, of course you couldn't fire through, so you'd have to waste a shell once in order to try to fire through at a target on the other side. So T1s were crucial for that. They'd wipe out a wall, and then you'd fire through. Now, because you can fire through, it's this new kind of little skill that everyone's picked up on. Recognizing my target is here, I can aim for a weak point on the other side of the wall, and there's so much to it, so much skill to be able to understand even how to make a track and penetration. You got to give it to him for putting into the engine block, Sella, and setting his enemy on fire.
Yeah, that kill was so huge because Taka did the most damage on his side of the team. And so when you eliminate the top damage dealer on the opposite team, especially in an AMX 5100, you feel a little bit of relief. However, that time was so close, so close. Trireme almost got it. Battle number 5, Mines. Cunninghams versus RBIS. RBIS is up 1-0. Real kill. What do we have for tanks?
For tanks, T-32, 2 T-69s, 2 1390s, 2 T-1 Cunninghams. Red team in the South Cunninghams. Blue team in the North, RBIS, has 2 T-32s, 8 single T-69, 2 1390s, 2 T-1 Cunninghams. RBIS is set up right now to defend. They can draw this one out. They have more armor, but there's one little but in all this. Those T-69s, if they can get the right connections, can end all of this. And Countess will have control of the hill. Ox Mathis and Legit decide to back off, and 2 shells do not connect on Commander J. That is a lot of potential wasted right there.
We've seen teams choose to have AMX 5100s in the North on the flag cap to defend. But this time for RBIS, they're going towards the bottom of the hill, and Carbon Ward takes the first hit, fires back. Carbon Ward, listen, you do not have to move past this angle right here.
I have to give it to Silent Demise. He has the higher ground, making it easier to make that connection. And that went into the commander's hatch, right, Josh?
Let me check precisely where it hit. Do not see a mark yet where it landed.
Keep searching, keep searching. It's there. Oh, A. Martin goes down. That is in the west. Jump over there real quick.
This is where it hit, at the bottom of the hole.
Really?
Glacius plate.
Oh, Carbon Ward was way out of position. You're right. All right, A. Martin gets himself killed. Under cover of pre-cam, Legit is able to get it. A. Martin peeking out just a little bit, not even all that much. And that's going to open up the entire flank of the Cunninghams, allowing for that T1 pre-cam to perhaps put on cap pressure and just make a mess of things in the backfield.
Carbon Ward will maintain this position.
And look at the east. We've got Trireme versus Gabriel Angelus in the T1. That fight, if they take down Gabriel, allows for a heck of a lot. But right now, it looks like the flank is coming in. Taka with Baguk. Those 2 T-69s should be able to pinch the position of RBIS. If played right, they should be able to take this fight. All they have to do is have Silent Demise take the attention away, and here they are. Baguk, Taka moving in. First shells connect.
Taka hit twice. 8-11 already. Ox Mathis waiting for it. 1079. Carbon Ward waiting to get the last shot. Can't get it yet. And Ox Mathis and Carbon Ward are now in trouble as the tanks have pushed up against their position. Ox Mathis fires back. Countess and Silent Demise focused on these two tanks. And Carbon Ward still alive for one more shot. Can he get it? He can't. Ox Mathis will use that as cover. Commander J focuses on Ox Mathis but takes damage because of it.
All right, that is not a very successful push from the Cunninghams. They've paid a heck of a lot to get this position. They have that, though. They have position. Cunninghams have the high ground. Legit represents the potential for a comeback. Sella and Akiyama are going to have a lot of trouble with this. I would not recommend them pushing up the... Oh, that works a little bit, I guess. 358 for 241. Not a good trade in damage. Commander J has shells. Countess is on the high ground.
Another shot against Silent Demise. And now Sella can push up. Silent Demise gets tracked. Sella wants to close this out. Fires and misses. Commander J will track him. Commander J will hit again. And here's a shot from the left side. Coming from the top side. That's Countess. They're falling into a trap, and now it's starting to even out.
That trade not working out, but the cap has begun. 2 T1s in the south. They lose Akiyama as well. Legit has to hold on to this. Commander J is on the way back to cap. Countess has one shell. He throws it out there. They're both on reload. Commander J is going to be able to make it. I think 13 seconds left. He should be able to make it, but he has to do it with a ram. He must ram a T1 in order to reset this cap.
9 seconds. Commander J is going to be moving uphill. 7 seconds. Gabriel Angelos and Precambrium have got to dodge Commander
4,
J.
3,
2, 1. Can they get it? No! It's reset at the last second. Commander J is reloaded. He fires into the tracks of Precambrian. That T1 needed to be moving, not in a stationary position. But they didn't know he was reloading.
Legit and Countess have begun their engagement. Countess starts it at an advantage, and Legit down by 756. One more connection, and Countess will get it.
And Cunninghams take battle number 5, tying up the series, taking us to Sand River.
Wow. You could feel it at the beginning of this, just how tense it was. It would have to be decided on Sand River, and we're going to have to see where the damage goes. As I look at the post-game, damage certainly going by far in favor of the Cunninghams. Countess racking up almost 3k damage, but you have to give it to RBIS. They put out an equally potent amount of damage. I don't know if it's going to be enough to outweigh what we saw from Himmelsdorf. Just remember how many T8s went down and how much momentum was in favor of RBIS.
RBIS made the biggest mistake. They aggressed into the trap of the Cunninghams, even though Cunningham's push was a little clunky, and they suffered a lot. They lost 2 tier 8s compared to the 1 from Cunninghams. And you could see Carbon Ward and Ox Mathis dealing significant damage to those tanks trying to move into the village. But here comes Countess and Silent Demise. Carbon Ward's going to block as much as he can for Ox Mathis. And then look at Commander J taking so much damage up here. Even falling damage for about 20% of his health.
Yeah.
From there, that's when RBIS cuts their losses and moves back and plays defensive.
All right, RBIS has more damage. They will be able to pick the side on Sand River. And as I look down, Precam says defend. He will have the defensive side. I'd say that's a smart choice.
Yes, it is. It's the classic choice from teams in Season 4, and also for many teams, but not all of them, in the Global Grand Finals. Simp were the aggressors, and they got the win on Sand River against Lemming Train. If you haven't seen that VOD, you got to watch it. It's on the YouTube channel for the Wargaming League.
That was an exceptional battle, but for the most part, teams have learned enough about Sand River. The defender should be able to cover everything. Cunninghams could bring something special. They could surprise us. They've been in a tiebreaker before. They have that experience. RBIS, do they bring that, though? Do they bring that same level of experience to Sand River?
In the Gold League, no. I don't know. Individually, have they been practicing Sand River or Karelia, which has been one of the other tiebreaker maps that we've played? I would be one of those teams that said, yes, we need to practice on Sand River. Yes, we need to practice on Karelia because this is a viable option that can happen.
Yeah.
We don't want to be #RU, who faced Hammer Time in Season 3, had never practiced for a shootout before. They take Hammer Time to a shootout and they lose because they were inexperienced in that type of format. So they definitely don't want that to happen. Precambrian for RBIS is called a timeout, which adds 60 seconds to the overall clock. These teams have 60 seconds to choose their tanks before we start the battle. But I'm sure in that timeout, they are deliberating, okay, Cunninghams has to attack. We play defense. We don't meet them out in crazy corners. We don't fight them in the dunes. We fight them in the hardest places for them to approach us. That's either in the narrow passages, past the water, or that's going to be in the areas where the tanks have got to expose themselves on the farther sides and the corners.
Yeah, you find those killing fields.
Yeah, the killing fields, best way to put it.
There's big open areas on Sand River, and scouting is so paramount to your success. You have to understand your opponent's position. There is a counter to every situation. There is a possible approach. You cannot cover everything all the time perfectly. There are answers. The problem is it's such a big map that once you find the answer, you have to be prepared to execute and find the weak points. If your opponent brings a bunch of 1390s, there are answers in bringing larger amounts of damage and also hit points, and then trying to slow roll with combination scouting. It's difficult. Cunninghams are about to undertake I'm looking at their tanks picked, and you guys have to see this. Okay, I'm sorry. I had to cut off my entire statement.
Countess in that last battle did almost 3,000 damage. He was 16 for 16. That's the type of performance that Cunninghams needs again, except this time as the aggressors proper against the defensive team. Real kill, tell us the tanks.
Okay, get ready for this. We've got a Lorraine 155-51.
What?
French artillery, guys. It's back. And combined with that, we have 4 AMX 1390s, 2 T1 Cunninghams. That's the Cunninghams. They are the attackers. And that is their strategy. Arty, that's it. On the defense, we've got a T32, T69, 3 1390s, 2 T1 Cunninghams. RBIS they're not set up. They're not prepared for this kind of assault. It's going to come down to scouting. I'm in love with this battle right now. So,
all right, so
ready
does this turn into RBIS search and destroy, find the Arty?
If they can, they have to break through. You can't leave your defensive cap open. You don't have Cunninghams doesn't have a cap. They can stay mobile. They can move that Arty anywhere. On a map like this, with the hills the way they are, there are some, if you aren't prepared, that you're going to catch shells more than you're going to be covered from them. The defilades, backsides of the hills are safe places to be, but they're no longer steep enough. They're not going to keep you safe from Arty. And Commander J is going to scout in the far east. In the middle, we've got Silent Demise. Actually, no, that's Silent Demise in the very west. Germ, Taka in the middle. Between the 4 of them, they're going to spot all sorts of stuff. A Martin Tri-Ring. If they can get one solid connection for a T1, that's all they need. That's all you need. That already deals so much damage.
Well, Gabriel Angelos is behind one of the dunes, and the rest of his team have moved over in the bottom left-hand corner. And Silent Demise is looking for a target. There's one shot fired.
That's
big shot into the dune.
Yep. It was so close to Sella. Very, very close. I'm going to be jumping back and forth from Countess to wherever he fires. He's going to be where we see some kind of growth and change for the Cunninghams in this battle. We have Commander J. Oh, yes, they're clearing it out. They've got the entire east side cleared out. They should move Countess up. Every time he reloads, I think he's going to probably try and take a shell. The Zeros looking towards Carbon Ward Sella. No, towards Legit. Silent Demise is scouting it.
Legit has moved further away now towards Sella. And Silent Demise took down Precambrian, that T1, and now he's going to inch closer towards Legit and Sella.
It's nice. Very good. Arty's doing it. And RBIS is not prepared to push out. They're doing what you don't need to do when there's an Arty present.
Blind fire.
And they should recognize, once they find Commander J, I expect to see a push. There better be a push.
This is one thing you don't want to do when you're up against Arty, is bunch up. But Akiyama and Carbon Ward are continuing to blind fire towards the potential placement of Cunninghams. Now,
Shot fired.
Oh, so close! So close against Carbon Ward. Does not hit. They fell back from that position. But people have to understand that if you're not familiar with this tiebreaker scenario, it's that the defenders, all they have to do is either destroy the enemy tanks or have the time run out, and they will win. Attackers have to destroy all enemy tanks or capture the flag cap.
Yep. Now, I want to bring up one big thing that you may have experienced. Do you play much Arty, Josh, these days?
I've played it here and there, but I still stick with my T-32.
Yeah, I mean, after the great Arty nerf, not a lot of people played Arty as much. So, the big problem with Countess and the Lorraine 155, you have really horrible accuracy in some situations. Back in the day, Arty used to be fairly reliable. You put the shot where you want it to go. Generally, it's going to go just about there, and if not, you'll splash the opponent. These days, the reticles are pretty big, they settle slower, and they reload slower. Now, Countess is getting ready to fire. I see him zeroing towards... Shot out.
Oh! Just past Carbon Ward. Does not land. And now Ox Mathis, Sella pushing down. Gabriel Angelos falls. Silent Demise got that kill from long range. And both T1s are down for RBIS. It's all 5 of the Tier 8s. 16 seconds left. Ox Mathis and Sella now pushing towards the flag cap.
A. Martin is on the cap behind one of the buildings that was not destroyed. RBIS making a huge mistake there. Trireme is bailing off the cap. A. Martin goes down. They're going to keep him alive. Commander J is beginning the engagement.
Commander J fires one. Arty fires. Don't see a connection. Let's Akiyama got hit.
That's Akiyama. 700 damage on him.
Akiyama got hit for 700 damage. Commander J returning fire. He falls next, though, against the 3 1390s. Nice shot coming from the Lorraine. Akiyama hit again for 200.
And now we've got Germ with 1 shell left. Other 1390s on reload. Countess just about loaded. And he's ready. He's ready to fire. Taka going for the scouting run, I believe. If he spots Sella, I'm expecting... Where's Countess going to go? Oh, he's got to play it safe. Arty's got to get safe. We cannot lose Arty, says the Cunninghams.
Silent Demise halfway. Past halfway now for the reload. Ox Mathis now starting to turn around. Akiyama dancing back and forth.
He's zeroing on Sella. He's going to lead the target. You can see the gun just inching.
Sella not slowing down. Bit of a serpentine. Bit of a serpentine belt.
Countess is going to shift his attention to Carbon Ward, I think.
Serpentine.
He's covering Silent Demise.
Silent Demise. Still on the run. Legit in Carbon Ward. On the chase.
I'm just going to follow Countess here. Where's he looking? He's looking towards Sella. And Silent Demise needs to get this spotting.
423. Cunningham's running out of time.
Shot looking towards Akmathis and Sella. Silent Demise just peeking up. Akiyama could take the next shell if he's not careful about his positioning.
Still dancing around. Does not hit. Far away from Akiyama. Hit the top of the dune. Akiyama still low, though. If he was closer, could have done some splash damage. 355.
What's Trireme doing? I think we're going to see another bit of cap pressure from the Cunninghams and second try. Trireme is inching towards the cap. They recognize that RBIS has retreated, given up a lot of that ground, and with that, the control of the cap. Trireme gets on cap, gets off, gets on one more time, and rights himself. He's in a bush, so that most of the approaches should be covered. Now Countess is watching that approach, looking towards Sella.
Sella and Akiyama still staying close to the dunes. But once they pop up and fire, Countess can take that opportunity to get a good shot, especially against Akiyama. He'd get a kill. Minute 14, minute 13.
Shot fired.
Shot fired. Oh, just over Carbon Ward and Akiyama. So close.
That was lined up so excellently, too. Carbon Ward and Akiyama were right behind each other, so that if it went over one of them, it was very likely to hit the other, but unfortunately it seems to have gone very long.
And another shot from long range might have been from Silent Demise. With Countess, Germ firing from across the way. Carbon Ward gets hit for 233, and he gets hit again for 495. By the time he gets to that flag cap against Trireme, he could be in serious trouble. Trireme backs off.
Legit's going to jump onto Silent Demise. He has 3 shells. Legit has all of his. Taka, taking damage, is forced down. Countess is halfway on reload still. And Trireme has jumped off cap one more time. Not huge gains for this. In fact, a lot of lost hit points for the Cunninghams. Germ is still at full health. Countess almost has a shell. Looks like he's on Carbon Ward this time. Shot fired.
And just misses Carbon Ward. Hits into the village.
That actually works against Cunninghams in some ways, breaking those buildings down. They need those. Germ is looking towards Carbon and fires. Looks like he's going to be taking down a lot of buildings. Carbon Ward trying to see what cover he can achieve.
Carbon Ward, shot fired again towards him. It's a miss. That one bounces off.
Countess is almost loaded.
T-32. No cons charging through this village.
Countess is loaded.
Carbon Ward still moving forward.
He's zeroing fires.
109 on splash damage. Carbon Ward moved just in time to dodge that artillery shell.
Nice play there. Now we've got Trireme on cap one more time. And Sella is moving in. Sella at full health, by the way, in his 1390 can very easily swoop in, get this T1. They need to get that. Really do need to get that T1 kill. On the other side of the map, we have Silent Demise and Taka moving in. Bit of a flank. Countess is almost loaded, by the way.
Sella pushing in, takes down Trireme with one shot. Minute 13. Cunninghams has got to push in now if they're going to get a win.
Countess is on Carbon Ward one more time. Zeroing his shell. Going to look for that splash damage. No, he shifts his focus. I think it's towards Akiyama? Yes. As the engagement begins.
Silent Demise takes down Legit. Two Cunningham tanks now focusing on Akiyama.
Shot fired.
Shot fired, it missed. Akiyama's too far away from it. Sella and Carbon Ward firing back. Silent Demise falls. 49 seconds left for Cunninghams to take down the rest of these tanks. Taka, next one. 2 shots left. Sella almost going to get there in time, but Oxmathis closes the deal. 4 tier 8s against 2 Countess.
Germ, you have to clear it up. You got 30 seconds and you got 6 shells. Your arty is almost loaded. Countess fires.
There's one.
Germ gets the kill, though, on Oxmathis. He can go for cleanup.
20 seconds.
I think Countess will have time for one more good shell. That is it.
Akiyama. Double shot. Germ's on fire. He's burning. He takes down Akiyama. Carbon Ward takes down Germ.
Countess has 1 shell to fire.
Can he get Carbon Ward? He's going to fire. Last note. Position, he gets it! The artillery gets it. However, Sella still alive, meaning RBIS is the winner.
Yes. Interesting strat. Probably the most successful out of any attempted break of the Sand River defense. I am very surprised. You have to give so much credit to the Cunninghams. Akiyama, I was going to say something about, I got to look at his post-game stats. T69 with Carbon Ward right at the end. Good play. Gets the kill. Had they not killed that 1390, you could be looking at a different game. You could be looking at a Cunninghams win.
Yeah. Can you imagine if Sella was dead and that last shot took down Carbon Ward?
The last shot could have taken down Sella. That Lorraine 155 can one-shot a 1390.
Yeah.
If he gets a good enough connection on the HE rounds, dead. It's done. Absolutely dead 1390. Probably could catch fire even if it doesn't kill him. And if not that, then it's a ripped-up tank that's not going anywhere anytime soon.
That Lorraine by Countess was 3 for 12. 2 of them were splash damage. Out of the 3 shots that landed, 1,392 damage.
He should have been utilized so much more. And I feel like he's not able to execute like he would. It's a great tank. Difficult to use in some instances, especially Sand River. I remember when I used to play in Clan Wars a lot, Sand River was a very difficult arty map. You had to trust them to do quite a bit of work because of the way the hills work. There's such diverse terrain that you have trouble reading where your shells are going to go and judging that. In the end, generally, you just kind of aim a little bit short or a little long, depending on the hill. High ground is exceptionally useful, but the hang time is difficult to play with. It looked like Countess was taking into account the hang time very well. His shells were aiming very, very closely. He was just not getting the RNG, I guess, that he needed, because shells will land anywhere within that reticle. Can't depend on it to land center always. Very unfortunate for him.
Yeah.
Cunninghams could have won that based on just some arty connections.
Well, it's still not over yet for the Cunninghams.
No.
But they're going down to the losers match, and there they will face Burn All Empires. The winner moves on to the decider match. The loser is out of the playoffs, and they're done for Season 4. That match, Burn All Empires versus the Cunninghams, begins after this. Stay tuned.